Cool. Okay. So for today's practice, there's going to be some focus on the hips and the rotation of the spine and how that can correlate with the low back. So to begin, I'll have you start in a nice seated pose. Place your palms onto your thighs and push yourself up so you're sitting up nice and tall. You have this nice straight spine. And then if you would like, bring the ears in line with the shoulders and then take the nose, look up towards the ceiling, look down, maybe look up and down. And then bring your nose to neutral and see if you jutted forward at all, or if you were able to keep your straight spine, a nice extension in the neck. Try to maintain this for the next few minutes while you bring your attention first to your breath, and then as you notice your breath and your body work together. So the thumb or the palms are onto the thighs. Let's start with a 5-by-5 breath. So taking your first inhale, counting to 5, and then hold and exhale for a count to 5. Hold. Inhale for 5. And exhale for 5. And I'll leave you at it because your count may be a little quicker or slower than mine. But don't worry, I'll call you back. Then keeping your 5 count on your inhale, look up. When you get to the top of your 5, hold. And then exhale for 5, look down, chin to chest, or best as can be. Hold. And then repeat this a few times. So look up for a count of 5. Holding at the top and looking down for a count to 5. And then when you get to the bottom of your next exhale, stay with chin to chest. And keeping your count on your inhale, roll your chin over to one side and make a full rotation looking up. Inhale. And then when your rotation is ready to come down with the neck, exhale for a count to 5. And repeat this a few more times. Looking up for a count of 5, inhaling. And exhaling, looking down for a count of 5. When you're at the end of this rotation, switch sides. So you'll come up going the opposite way. And just take note of how your range of motion may be slightly different, not as a comparison, but just to be aware of in your practice. And complete this rotation on the exhale, meeting with the chin back into the chest. Take a full cycle of breath. With your nose, come back up to a neutral spot. Pause here and see if you jutted your head forward and see if you can come back into an alignment. Okay. Place the right palm to the outside of the right hip. Reach the left arm high. And then keep your sit bones rooted down. As you exhale, fold over to the right side. And you can keep your lateral flexion high just until you feel like it's a good stable spot on the side body. So what I mean here is try not to dump. A lot of times we like to dump into our fold, and we crunch our bottom shoulder in, and we reach the top shoulder to our ear. So keep it high, and then, when you're ready, maybe you walk your right hand further away from the right hip. Maybe you reach the left arm a little bit more to the right side. And then looking at your right knee, if you please, or slowly taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then it's your choice if you want to guide the sternum. So you're practicing a little rotation in the thoracic spine, looking up towards the sternum, so the rib cage area. 2 more breaths. If you're sticking with the 5 count, that's cool too. Beautiful. When your next inhale happens, reach the left arm up. Exhale, set the left hand down. Inhale, reach your right arm up, and same thing here. Slowly side bend or laterally flex to the left side, but keep your lateral flexion high until it feels stable to take it deeper. Try not to dump. And it's sometimes staying in these movements that we can feel the subtleness of the pose change instead of just rushing into the next one. And you might feel that in today's practice just a little bit. There's going to be some subtle deepness. If you haven't already and you want to, go ahead, take the rotation. Looking up. 2 more breaths. And then when your inhale happens, reach yourself up and set your right hand down. Give yourself a few shoulder shrugs. And when you're doing your shoulder shrugs, bring the shoulders up, down, and away from the ears. And if you're doing the other way, see if you can bring the shoulder blades, the shoulders forward, winging the shoulder blades out gently. In some yoga poses, we don't want the winging, but here I don't mind it because you're getting some information, what's going on in the shoulders. And then come back into center. Great. Okay, reach the arms up high. Nice straight spine. And then at the torso, fold forward. And try to keep the sit bones rooted, folding forward at the torso. This will come back a couple of times in the practice. And if you want, you can pause halfway, reach the fingertips forward, and then set your hands down. Once again, keep it high until you feel stable. And then it's yogi's choice. How deep do you want to take your seated forward fold? And you'll stay in this forward fold for 3 long breaths. And maybe with each exhale, you sink a little deeper. And then when your next inhale happens, bring yourself up, gentle as can be. All right, keeping your straight spine, place your hands behind you, fingertips are facing towards your bum. Try to come up as tall as you can without sinking and dumping back. All right, take a nice full inhale, and then as you exhale, walk the hands and the fingertips back, giving yourself a gentle back bend, and then maybe you place the palms onto the mat, and you pull the sternum up. Try to keep the lower back from dumping and collapsing here. One more breath. And then bring yourself up as you inhale. And give yourself at least 2 solid cycles of breath and just feel what's going on in the back, what's going on in the shoulders. What do I want to be aware of today in my practice? Beautiful. All right, let's come into tabletop pose. I guess that last question was a little deep to just flip into the next pose, but you'll take it with you. All right, so knees are underneath the hips, and if you want, you can like pad the tops of the feet into the mat so you feel like you have this nice straight spine from knee to toe. Hands, place them underneath your shoulders, rock back on the heels, spread the fingertips nice and wide, and then set the palms back down. Cool. Let's just stay here for just a beat here. Crown of the head reaches forward, tailbone stays put, belly button into spine. Feel your hands root down, and then when your inhale is happening, that's when you're going to drop the belly and come into your cow pose, looking on up. And then as you exhale, tucking chin into chest, belly buttons into spine, tucking tailbone under, pressing the hands and the tops of the feet into the mat. All right, start flowing here. So as you inhale, and maybe you're sticking with the 5 count, you start coming into your cow. And then as you exhale, chin into chest, tailbone tucks under, cat. Flow with your breath a few more times. And if you would like, you can add variation. Maybe you make C shapes returning back into the lateral flexion of the spine. Or maybe you come into child's pose and roll forward too. So, you know, when you were doing your seated forward fold, maybe you realize you need a little bit more in the lower back. I was going to start stating muscle names, but low back work. Low back muscles work for this. All right, and then find your stillness in your tabletop. Okay, from here, tuck under toes, come into your first downward dog. Find movement. You know, so if that movement is pedaling it out, great. The movement is, you know, feet are nice and wide, coming up on toes, bending knees. And here, you know, you're just taking in information. How are my hamstrings? How are my hips? And then let's find some stillness in the downward dog here. So taking 3 cycles of breath, maybe inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, side out through the mouth. So stick out your tongue up. Full inhale. Sigh out your exhale. Last breath. it out. Shift forward, plank pose. And then drop the knees, the chin, the chest, lowering all the way down onto the mat. And then from here, placing the elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms are pressing into the mat. And then press the feet into the mat here. Hands are pressed into the mat. I want you to press the tops of the feet into the mat so you're lifting the knees, but it's not a forced lift. And then slowly peel the chest up, press the forearm into the mat, forearms into the mat, and look forward. So you're in the Sphinx pose. And it's activated here, but you're not like squeezing the glutes together. They should feel toned. So hopefully it feels pretty good on the low back. Take one more breath here, dropping the shoulders. And then as you exhale, lower down slowly, replace the hands underneath the shoulders, push up into downward dog. Staying here for one breath. And then walk the feet to the back of the hands, finding your first forward fold of the practice. Maybe you bend your knees deeply and place your tummy on your thighs, drop the head. And then rocking onto heels gently, lift and spread the toes. Maybe roll in medially, or on the inside and then the outside of the foot. And then push the entire foot down as you come up slowly. Finding your mountain pose. So some of us like to bring arms up overhead and then hands down to the side, palms forward. All right, and then from here, I want you to see if once again the ears are in line with the shoulders. You feel like the hips are in line with the ankles, the shoulders are in line with the hips. Make this activated. Great. Reach your arms up high. Fold forward. Find a halfway lift. And then plant your hands, step both feet back into your plank pose. Lower down slowly. So if you want to return to Sphinx, you can, but if you're ready for a cobra, go for it. And then push back into downward dog. All right, 3 breaths here. 2, 1. All right, lift your right leg high to the sky. Step your right foot through to your hands, coming into your high runner's lunge. So the left heel will stay lifted. And then come back into your cat-cow variation here. So when you inhale, you'll stay in the lunge and maybe sink a little deeper, finding your cow back. And then as you exhale, straighten the right leg, round the back like you did in cat. And I want you to take a little bit of a flow here, finding your cow back, or cow back, low lunge, cat back, hamstring stretch, or pyramid pose. And as you're doing this, see if you can keep some balance on the left and the right hands. See if you can keep the balance equally on the left foot. And then meet after you complete your last pyramid pose in a high lunge. All right, from here, send your right leg back into a 3-legged downward dog. So the left heel will reach, but maybe not touch the mat, but it might. And then bend your right knee and spread the toes on the right foot. Maybe you make circles one direction and then the other. Great, 3-legged downward dog, and then have your right foot come back into a downward dog. One more full breath. And then from here, lift your left leg high. Step your left foot through to your hands, high runner's lunge, same thing here. So mindfully, come into your lunge, find your cow back, and pyramid pose with the front leg, hat back. And flow here. So you're taking note. What feels good in the thighs, in the back of the thighs, in the front of the thighs. And then can my trunk of my body move with this movement as well? How is it moving? And complete whatever cycle you're on and meet back into your high runner's lunge. Beautiful. All right, send your left leg back into a three-legged downward dog. Bend the left knee, spread the toes. If you make circles, that's cool. And then three-legged downward dog, and then have your left foot meet the right foot, downward dog. All right, from here, have your right foot come high to the sky. Step your right foot through to your hands. Spin your left heel down, and then bring your hands to the hips as you rise up. Tuck the tailbone under. All right, from here, imagine that the femur, or on the right thigh, is pulling in as the left hip is guiding forward. You won't have a solid hip bones looking forward, but it's moving in that direction. Tailbone tucks under, reach the arms up high. Warrior one. If you want, you can always bend your elbows and look on up, giving yourself a little extra pec stretch. Stay with me, 3 more breaths. And then find a traditional warrior one. Hands come into prayer. From here, hinge forward at the waist, like you did in your seated fold. Pause halfway, and then take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee into your your twist. And from here, you really want to try to keep the right thigh bone reaching back. If you want, you can open up and give yourself wings. And then with control, slowly come back up into your warrior one with prayer arms and reach the arms up high. And then frame your right foot, spin your left heel up. Right foot meets left foot, plank pose. And you have a choice here, yogis. You can take it through your flow, or you can skip it and come into your downward dog. Two more breaths. Last breath. Reach your left leg high. And then step your left foot through to your hands. Set your right heel down. Hands come onto the hips as you slowly rise up. Get settled in the legs and in the torso for your warrior one. And then reach the arms up. Decide if you want to add a little bit of a back bend here, or if you want to stay with the pec opener, or if you want to leave the arms up high. Yogi's choice. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. Little reminders here. Press the left big toe into the mat. Press the outside of the right foot into the mat. One more breath. And then we'll meet with hands into prayer. Thumbs on the sternum. Take your inhale as you exhale, hinge forward, pausing about halfway, hovering over the knee, and then hooking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee for your prayer twist. And then you can open up the arms. Two more breaths. See if you can draw the shoulder blades down and away from the ears. And then on your next inhale, see if you can come back into your prayer twist. Settle on the exhale. Reach the arms up high. And then frame the left foot. Have your left foot meet right foot in your downward dog. If you're jonesing for a flow, you can take it, but I didn't intend for it. Two more breaths. Last breath. All right, from here, reach your right leg high. Step your right foot through. Find your warrior one. And then bring the hands into prayer. And then slowly hinge forward, hook the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. This is where you want your foundation solid. So if you feel like that's not there, I want you to come out, frame the right foot, and then decide, does the left foot need to come in closer or wider? Okay, so we're meeting in the prayer twist. Two more breaths. And if you want, you can open your arms. And then slowly start straightening your right leg without locking the right knee. So there's a lot going on here. You're drawing the right hip back, and then this is where engaging the left side of the foot will really help you have the foundation and the stability. And then if your hands are down, have them down. Two more breaths. You're doing great. And then when your inhale happens, slowly find your lunge. Draw yourself back up, warrior one. And then as your exhale happens, frame your right foot, spin your left heel up, right foot meets left foot, plank pose. And slowly and carefully taking it through your flow. Two more breaths. Last breath. And then reach your left leg high. Step your left foot through your hands. Find your warrior one. Hands come into prayer. Slowly hinge forward, hook the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. We're staying here in case anyone needs to make adjustments. And then when you're ready, slowly start straightening the left leg without locking the knee. So keeping your spine straight when you're folding forward and then slowly rotating is going to allow you to have the space. If you didn't have that elongation starting with the rotation, you'd be crunching together. So that's where, keeping it easy or lighter may be beneficial. All right, when your inhale happens, slowly bend back into your left knee. Slowly bring yourself back up into your warrior one. Frame your left foot meets right foot, downward dog. But if you want the flow, go for it. Three more breaths in this down dog. All right, reach your right leg high. Step your right foot through, and then find your warrior one. This time, open up to your warrior. 2. All right, you're here for 3 more long breaths. So really find your foundation in the torso. Looking out over the left or the right fingertips. And then slowly heel toe the left foot in. Straighten the right leg. Find your triangle pose. So taking the left hip back, reaching the right arm forward, and dropping the right hand to the inside of the right shin, reaching the left arm high to the sky. Great. And then watch your left hand come to the inside of the right foot, and then walk yourself wide onto your mat and find your wide-legged forward fold. And then slowly come up onto fingertips, root down through your feet, hands on hips, and draw yourself up. So push the feet into the mat and draw yourself up. And then open up to warrior 2 on the left side. So make any small adjustments you need. You're here for 3 more breaths. Maybe you're moving around. And then find your triangle pose, walking your right foot in a little bit, straightening the left leg, reaching left arm forward, right hip back, finding triangle pose. And you can keep the gaze at the left toe, or you can look up at the right fingers, or keep a neutral gaze. One more breath. And then watch your right hand, whenever it comes into your periphery, come to the inside of the left foot, and then bring yourself back into your wide-legged fold. This time, if you want, you can always add a little rotation by bringing one hand underneath the face and reaching the other arm up. If you're enjoying the stillness, stay in the stillness. And then if you're doing rotation of the spine, meet in stillness in the wide-legged fold. When you're done, no rush. And then come up on fingertips, hands on hips, guide yourself up. And slowly step to the top of your mat. Coming into your mountain pose. Beautiful. All right, reach the arms up high. Nice full inhale. Fold forward as you exhale. Find your halfway lift. This time, plant your hands, step your right foot back into your high runner's lunge. And set your right heel down. Reach up into your warrior 1. Open up to your warrior 2. Hinge forward. Find your triangle pose. And then from here, place your right hand onto your right hip. Look at your left toe. And then bring yourself up halfway. Keep the left arm reaching forward. Keep your gaze down. And then bring your right arm to meet right ear. Left hand on left hip. And then slowly start rotating and bringing the right hand to the left shin. Maybe it's to the outside of the left shin. I apologize. I can't remember the camera view, and I set myself up goofy. So it's bringing the right hand to the outside of the left shin. So you have a revolved triangle going right now, and if you want, you can bring your left arm out to a T and reach as high as you would like. So this is going to test the balance. For me, I'm leaving my left hand on my left shin, but that's just what my body needs. Don't let that challenge, like hinder your challenge. All right, slowly and carefully rotate back into center, bring both arms forward. So you're reaching them parallel to the ears. And then frame the left foot, come back into your high runner's lunge, and then step the left foot back to meet the right, plank pose, and slowly and carefully take it through your flow. So this is a 5 breath down dog. If you want to take a child's pose, you can. Two more breaths. And then here in this last breath, walk your feet to the back of your hands, finding your fold. The halfway lift, folding forward, and then reach the arms up high to the sky as you inhale. Fold as you exhale. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, this time stepping your left foot back, and my backside is going to be facing the camera, so I apologize. When you're ready, warrior one, and then open up to your warrior two. Make any adjustments you need, and then slowly find your triangle pose. Great. All right, so from here, slowly rotate so you're looking at your right toe. Place your, reach your left arm forward and then have your right arm reach parallel to your right ear. So both arms are reaching forward, shoulders are dropping down and away from the ears. Little strength here. And then right hand on the right hip and then reach the left hand for the right shin. So if it touches the inside of the right shin, that's fine. But if it touches the outside of the right shin, that's kind of the goal in revolved triangle, but everyone is so different. I feel like if you've got something touching the right leg, you're good. And then you make a choice. Do you want to bring your right arm out to a T, finding the full revolved triangle? You can take the gaze up over the right shoulder or look at the big toe. One more breath. And then slowly rotating, keeping the gaze towards the mat. Reach the arms forward one more time. And then frame the right foot. Have the right foot meet the left foot in your plank pose. And then slowly and carefully take it through your flow. Meeting in your downward dog. Two more breaths. And then walk your feet to the back of your hands as you exhale. Slowly dropping the bum to the mat. Have your feet flat, knees up. This is where we'll meet. Sit up nice and tall. I feel like this is such a nice heart opener. And even while you're doing this, lift and spread the toes and set each toe into the mat. So you sit up a little taller. Nice straight spine. Great. Okay. I'm not going to mirror you here because I'll get confused. So place the left foot onto the bottom and have your right foot onto the top. So you're in a fire log pose. or double pigeon. And your choice, how far away does your shins need to be from the pubic bone? About here. And then keep the left foot activated by flexing the left toe, same with the right foot. You can stay here, or if cow face legs are calling for you, that's where the knees are stacked on top of each other. I think I'm fire log right now. Cool. All right, reach your arms up high. And from here, bring the left hand behind you. Right hand comes to the top of the back of the right shoulder. So your right elbow is reaching up towards the sky and the left elbow is reaching down in cow face arms. Some of us, our fingers are going to touch our hands. Others of us, we're just going to be touching parts of our back. And sit up nice and tall. This is where you can notice if you're starting to jut forward and collapse. Try to keep your straight spine. Try to come up nice and tall. You got a lot of good spinal joint fluid going with the rotation and everything. It's just really nice to take advantage of it. All right, cool. Stay here. Or if you like, you can slowly start folding forward. And if keeping the hands on the back compromises you, maybe you start rolling in. I want you to release the hands down and walk yourself forward then. So you get a little bit of a stretch in the low back, but some of us like to have the stretch too with the cow face arms. I'll show both. I'll show this one first with my hands onto the ground. Three more breaths. And then when your inhale happens, slowly bring yourself up, coming into a seated pose. Return back with the feet flat and the knees up, but you don't need to hug them in. Place your hands next to your hips and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then switching sides. So this time the right leg is going to be on the bottom and the left leg is going to be on the top. Stay here first, Start subtly. You might need to prop something underneath the knees. And then you make the choice, do you want to come into cow face legs or not? I'm sticking with fire log. Great. All right. So from here, reach your right arm to the lower back, the left arm to the upper back. So you have your cow face arms. And the goal is to try to keep the left elbow reaching up and the right elbow down. Sitting up nice and tall. Keeping the shoulders dropping down and away from the ears, but preventing that collapse forward. Oh, and in the future, you could always do a little lateral stretching with this too, if you find yourself at a desk for long periods of time. But that's for later. All right, and then when you're ready, slowly hinge forward. And you can always release the arms and walk yourself forward as well. Two more breaths. And then slowly walk yourself up. Release the hands down, place the feet flat. And once again, windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Cool. All right, let's send both legs long. Heels are planted, toes are up. Second toe is trying to get in line with the knee. Some of us, we just have short tissue, so it's a goal. All right. The legs don't need to be zipped together. You can have them a little wide, a little abduct. This isn't a wide-legged fold though, so reach the arms up. And then slowly start hinging forward again. So hinging forward at the waist, it's almost like you're starting your forward fold from lumbar spine up to the thoracic. And it's like you can feel it go up all the 12 thoracic lumbar or vertebra into the cervicals. And then you just find a spot where you can rest your hands somewhere on your body. So it could be thighs, could be shins, could be feet. And see if you can keep your straight spine as you fold a little sweeter. You're not weighing the shoulder blades out, but see if you can pull them away. You flirted around with it in the beginning when you were rolling the shoulders. You're not winging them out, just drawing them away from the spine. Great. Use this inhale to bring yourself up. Bring both feet flat onto the mat. Hug the knees into the chest, sit up nice and tall. And then drop chin to the chest, roll down one vertebra at a time. All right. From here, with the spine implanted or planted onto the mat, not implanted, walk your heels closer to your bum. Arms are down to the side. From here, rock back on the heels, lift and spread the toes, and then feel each toe come into the mat. And feel your feet push into the mat. You might notice that there's a little lift already starting in the torso. All right, but hold up. Lift and shimmy the shoulders so you feel equal on your shoulder blades. Sometimes we like to roll one shoulder in so that can lift a scapula out or a shoulder blade out. So see if you can make the adjustments here. And then rock the head from side to side. Give yourself some space in the neck. And then keep the gaze looking up. Finding your bridge pose as you inhale, push down to your feet and lift the hips gently. And see if you can prevent from activating the glute muscles. See if this lift can just come up from the hips. Forearms are planted, toes are planted. One more breath here. Maybe you lift a little higher. And then as you exhale, starting from the top of the spine, slowly push each vertebra down into the mat until the hips are engaged into the mat. And drop the knees from one side and then the other, just gently windshield wipering the legs. And then find your stillness. Coming back into bridge pose again, maybe you come up a little higher. So when the inhale happens, lifting the hips. And if you want here, maybe you walk shoulder blades closer together so you can interlace the fingers and make a fist, draw it down towards the heels. Take a few more cycles of breath. I'll tell you something personally. When I do bridge, I like to make really big belly breaths. I like to see how big I can make my belly. Take up space, you know. And then as your exhale happens, lower down one vertebra at a time. And windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Great. Hug the knees into your chest and give them a good squeeze. Maybe you rock from side to side. And then keep your right knee hugged in as you extend your left leg long. Left heel is planted. Keep the left leg activated. Just because it's resting doesn't mean it can't be activated. It's not on vacation. And then when you're ready, send your right leg high to the sky. I had a yoga teacher tell me that once, and his voice always stays with me every time I think that. It's not on vacation. And then as your next exhale happens, bend the right knee into the chest. Keep the left leg activated. Bring your right arm out to a T. Hold the right knee with the left hand. And stay here for a brief second so you can feel the right fingertips reach away from the shoulders. And then guide the right knee across the body. I know that was kind of an odd cue, but sometimes we have a tendency to rush into the comfort of a pose. And we miss like how we can make it a little deeper. And then it's your choice. Do you want to look over your right shoulder at your beautiful right hand? One more breath. And then come back into center. Hug your right knee into your chest. Keep your left leg activated. And then have your left knee meet your right knee. Extend your right leg long. Keep the right leg activated as you send your left leg high to the sky. And then as you exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Hug the left knee with the right hand into chest as you extend your left arm out to a T. And then guide the left knee across body. Is your right leg still activated? And when you find stillness, that's when you can decide to take your gaze out over your left shoulder. And slowly come back into center. Pause, hugging the left knee in, and then have your right knee meet the left knee. Rock from side to side or give yourself some pelvic circles. And if you're going with pelvic circles, switch direction after a few. And then guide the legs up for legs up against the wall pose. If you're practicing at home with a wall nearby, you can use an actual wall too. So this is a nice inversion. If you have any other inversion in your practice, you can go to it, but I will not cue out of it. I'll cue out of legs up against the wall, just so you know. You're halfway through your inversion, so stay with it. When your exhale happens, slowly bring the knees into the chest and extend one leg long, then the other. Give yourself a full body stretch. And come into your Shavasana pose. Know that I am minding the time for you in your Shavasana, and I will call you back. All right. Take a nice full inhale for a count to 5. And exhale for a count to 5. You choose how you want to make your way onto your right side. What movements do you need? What stretches do you need? But make your way onto your right side into a fetal position. And even while you're here, maybe play around with bringing the knees in a little bit closer to the chest. Staying in your fetal position. And then with your left palm, use that to push yourself up, coming into a nice seated pose. Sitting up nice and tall. When your inhale happens next, reach the arms up overhead. Hands come into prayer, heart center. Give yourself a soft bow. Collectively, let's take a nice cycle of breath, inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I honor this place inside of me in which the entire universe dwells. It is a place of compassion, it is a place of generosity, and it is a place of love. And when I am in this place in me and you are in this place in you, together we are one. Namaste.